What's going on? My name is Amy Nicholas. Welcome to the channel. If you're new, feel free to say hello in the comments. Let me know how long you've been trading for. I am in month 4, so I am definitely still the newbie. And it's been a fun, interesting roller coaster. This last month and a half to 2 months has been about risk management and learning how to manage the emotional side of day trading. And that's what I want to talk to you about today, is how I am handling the emotional roller coaster of being a newbie day trader. And there's some specific things that have crossed over from other areas of my life that have helped me to just stay on track mentally, emotionally, and not take things too seriously. There's been times where I've done that, but overall to just stay even keel, keep going, keep the right the right frame of mind, and just, keep on track. So number one is I find it really beneficial to wake up early. And in one sense, I'm forced to, as a day trader who lives on the Pacific time zone, because the markets open at 6:30 a.m. Now, me personally, I have been an early bird most of my life. And when I became an entrepreneur about 10 years ago, I decided that I was just always going to wake up somewhere between 4:30, 5:30 a.m. And I actually have been getting up even earlier because I like to be, looking at the markets, looking at the futures, planning my day, taking time in the morning to do personal development routines that I like to do. And so I'm pretty much up usually between 4:15, 4:20 or so every morning that I'm trading. And the times where I've slacked off a little bit, hit snooze or something like that, it definitely affects the emotions later that day, because I feel like I'm behind, I'm rushing, that kind of thing. I'm getting into trades. My thoughts aren't as clear, I didn't have as much time to prep. So that's just one of the things that's really helped me to get myself back on track. If I find myself slipping, hey, am I waking up early? Am I on my normal schedule? The other thing is I really enjoy reading, and I spend a lot of time not only studying about trading and learning the markets and learning, how to read charts and all that stuff, but also reading other things like personal development, success books. One of my all-time favorite books is Think and Grow Rich. There's been some courses I've invested money into for success training, learning how to create income, create money, things like that. Business books, self-mastery, just, becoming a better version of myself. Those kind of books, I think, really make a difference in your life overall. So of course that transfers over to the trading stuff, because I find myself like first thing in the morning, it's kind of like, every day you brush your teeth, right? So every day, this is one of those habits that I just feel is that important to cleanse your mind. Read something inspirational, read something positive. I'm reading the Bible, I'm reading, there's a book called Ask and It Is Given, which is kind of on the spiritual side. There's other books that I've got around. I'll just pick it up, just, kind of get some motivation for the day. The 10X Rule by Grant Cardone is one of my favorites. Any of those, I just feel like if you start your day off right mentally, it makes all the difference. The third thing is meditation. I am not the best right now accountability wise, but I've gone through streaks where I do it every day on a weekly basis, every day on a consistent basis. And that helps me emotionally to just feel like I'm not so caught up in whatever might be happening during the trading day or after, or if I took a loss. It's kind of like it sort of slows you down and helps you stay more at peace, regardless of what's going on around you. If you do the meditation, it just seems like, hey, I'm okay, right? Everything's okay. It might seem like things are crazy, but everything's okay. I kind of fluctuate between guided meditations, where it's more like visualizing things, or just the music that kind of puts you in this sort of state of mind where you can just be like, I'm just breathing, just focusing on breathing, right? So those are some of the things. The fourth thing is walking. So I have 2 German Shepherd dogs. I walk all the freaking time. So before trading, after trading, not only do I walk after trading, I also go to the gym. So like exercise, super important. And I think the actual concept of walking, where you're going out in nature, you're experiencing, your surroundings, you're seeing things far away, you're taking fresh air in. Like all of that really helps to kind of calm yourself. And then it's kind of a time for me to review my trades of the day, mentally. Like if this is the walk after, I'm sort of like, okay, play by play. There's a little bit of a replay thing going on. And it helps me to think more clearly. If I'm in the trade, and even if I'm journaling as I'm in the trade, and sometimes even just after I'm done trading, I might not be thinking as clearly as I am when I'm out walking. Because at that point, it's like I'm away from the charts, I'm away from the computer, I'm not as sucked into that. And it kind of gives me that space to really analyze and think, would I have normally taken that trade? Or what could I have done better here? Or to think on the ones that just go your way and you come out with a profit and you're like, wow, that felt like so easy, right? I love those trades. And it's so funny how a lot of the winning trades I've had, it's just, there is that sense of like, well, that was easy, you just wish all your trades could go that way. So yeah, those 4 things. And then also I would say just having like some structure. What I like to do, I do write, I guess you could call them to-do lists, but it's more of like a tracker list. And, every day I'm tracking like, how much I'm reading, if I'm doing my meditation, if I'm going to the gym, if I am devoting a specific amount of time to learning trading, also the actual, hey, I'm locked in these couple hours for trading, that's it. And having that sort of checklist of accountability, it just helps me keep me on track, keep me focused. And when I feel like there's certain variables around trading that you just can't control, right? You can't control how the market's going to move. You can't control whether the stock you just bought's going to go up if you're long, or whether it's going to go down if you're short. There's really no control over that. And it can feel a little bit like frustrating sometimes that you don't have control. But there's other things in your life where you can say, hey, I am responsible and I am in control of, did I go to the gym today? Did I do my meditation today? Did I get enough sleep? Like those are variables that you do control. And so I think that those are really important to keep you on track with the emotions, because if you're flying off the handle, you're going off on tilt, then clearly there's some other factors involved. It's not just, hey, you took a bad trade, you took a bad loss, you overtraded, whatever it might be. It's not just that action. There's usually some sort of emotional factor that's driving the reasons why you did something that you regret doing, or that you didn't do something you should have done. There's usually something going on, right? So some of the books too that have helped me with this, one of the best ones I've read is called The Mental Game of Trading. And I think the author's name is Jared Tendler. That one really addresses like all the emotions that you will experience in a trade or out of a trade, what you might experience with wins, what you might experience with losses, and really dials it into, hey, first of all, recognize that this is happening. Don't beat yourself up. See it, make plans to, not so much like, I gotta fix it, I gotta correct it, because he really stresses the importance of like, the emotions are okay. It's not a bad thing to feel overconfident, to feel greedy, to feel fear or any of that stuff. Like, this is how we are wired. It's not like, oh, you shouldn't do that, you should suppress it. No. It's more like recognize it, see where it's kind of coming from, and, make adjustments. So for me, for example, one of the adjustments I made around an emotion that was being triggered the emotion was fear. And when I realized that I was fearful of getting into trades because I was fearful of losing money or fearful of like being wrong, the ego, right? I reduced my share size down to the ridiculous, where at one point I'm trading 1 share per trade instead of, normal full-size positions. And I'm slowly bumping myself up by doubling that little by little. And I'm in my 2 shares per trade right now, but I'm just going to go very small back up that way to full position size again. And it basically cured me of that fear. I've had no issues kind of crop up. I've done probably like 30 some trades now where I felt like it's not an issue anymore, which is great, you know. Then the other things can come up as you're overcoming one thing, you notice something else to work on, which is fine. This is how we grow. But I think books like that can really pinpoint, you know, what's going on with you emotionally, and then help you to actually create a plan to, hey, if I reduce position size, this can be overcome. Or let's say your profits are, you know, you're frustrated because you're like just not profiting enough to overcome losses. Well, then maybe, you know, you have this fear of losing money getting out, you know, so you take profits too soon, and you can work on a strategy around that. Like, you know, maybe just saying, hey, I'm going to make sure that I look at the chart and see X amount of candles on the X time frame close before I decide, you know, whether I'm going to get out or not. So I think it's just a matter of knowing yourself, knowing what are your triggers, and knowing that they can change over time. You know, like before I had the fear of getting in, now it's more like staying too long, you know, like staying in the trade and then it turns against you. And so then you start to think, oh gosh, you start to doubt, am I really like good at this? Like if all these trades keep turning against me, like what am I doing wrong? So different things to work on as you go. And again, I'm just a newbie trader, but these are some things that have helped me get to this point where I can just overcome. You know, it's always going to be a learning process. There's always going to be room for growth. This is like not an end game. It's just, you know, it's like being an athlete, right? There's always a way to get better, to train, to hone your skills, to continuously improve. And I think if you can really master and control your emotions in a way that's healthy, and you can say, hey, I'm going to create a plan for this, I'm going to work on this, then you're on the right track. It's not that you have these emotions and it's bad. It's no, I see the emotions, I recognize, I'm learning, you know, about like what's triggering it, where it's coming from, and then I'm creating a plan, creating a system around when this happens, I will do X. Because when you have a system, especially written down system, then you know what to do. You know how to execute without thinking. Once that's like on paper, you know, in front of you, then you don't have to rely on the emotions to guide you, because at that point you don't want them to guide you. You're in the trade. You don't want to be listening to the emotions at all at that point. You need to have your system, right? So anyways, guys, if you're interested in the day trading resources I have put together, this is all the stuff that books, videos, people I've listened to on YouTube. I had some people ask, you know, how did you learn? And, you know, who did you listen to? So there's a link down below in the description. You just put in your email and you get access to the Google document. It's a working document where I'll keep adding and changing things as I go through my journey. But anyways, that's it for now. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.